Please do not go out of your way to harass any individual mentioned in this video. This video is for edutainment purposes. Additionally, this video will contain pretty dark themes, so if that's not something you're interested in, I suggest you click off now. Also, please watch to the end of the video before forming an opinion. Okay, so, the CreepsMcPasta channel was created on the 6th of March 2012, his first video, The Portraits, being uploaded on the same day of the channel's creation.
There was a hunter in the woods, who after a long day of hunting was in the middle of an immense forest. It was getting dark, and having lost his bearings, he decided to head in one direction until he was clear of the increasingly oppressive foliage.
Although the channel wasn't an overnight success, it had all the good signs for a passionate creator ready to take a new genre of videos to new heights. And that he did. Creeps is one of, if not the most successful content creator in the now niche genre of creepypasta narrations. His channel started to gain traction in late 2012. Because of this, he would have undeniably made many connections that would obviously come in useful in the next few years. One of the connections he made being Creepypasta Jr., one of the creators he grew close to in his early years of YouTube. During this time period, he also uploaded a video on the 5th of October 2012 by the name of Pokemon Jessica Creepypasta, something which will become very relevant later in the video. From late 2012 to the end of 2016, CreepsMcPasta would become one of the biggest names in the creepypasta community. He was in a place of mass influence, a place that being thrown into so quickly is never a good thing. Misuse of that influence is a topic that has become more and more prominent on YouTube over the years, with cases like Lionmaker and Red Kiwis being some of the worst cases of this. But in today's video, not only will we be delving into a case that is somewhat similar, but a case of mass manipulation and predatory behaviour. This is how CreepsMcPasta manipulated everyone.
For those who don't know, a few days ago there was this like a 40-minute expose about
I started
some creepypasta narrators.
Watching creepypasta narration videos when I was about 12 years old. Maybe a little bit.
In the interview, Kumori alleged that CreepsMcPasta, a YouTube creepypasta narrator with nearly 2 million subscribers, had sexually groomed her when she was 12 years old.
And I don't remember. It was basically just like me fangirling. And then he was like, "Oh, thank you so much," like, because I told him I liked, his voice, and it was kind of cringy, obviously, because I was 12.
There was like literally hundreds of new narrators. I would never have the capacity to put this on someone else.
Dramatic to admit, but the fact that a grown man in his 20s was getting a nude picture from an underage girl is in no way ever the individual's fault. Like, that was not your fault.
On the 22nd of August 2020, popular T channel by the name of Pastel Bell alleged that popular creepypasta narrators CreepsMcPasta and Creepypasta Jr. groomed a 12-year-old girl by the name of Kumori/Kuro-chan Fox. She supposedly messaged CreepsMcPasta on YouTube when YouTube still had a messaging feature, and he liked her so much they decided to swap Skypes. She claims that CreepsMcPasta made pixel art of her in Minecraft, meaning he would have known what she looked like. This would prove that he definitely knew she was a young child, but sadly there is no real evidence of this event ever taking place. She also states that she knew he was 21 at the time, and that he knew that she was 12.
So at the time, did you know how old he was?
Yeah.
Okay, and how old was he at the time?
He was 21.
Okay, and did he know that you were 13?
Yeah, we would like joke about how like we were the reverse age, like, because he was 21 and I was 12.
The alleged grooming happened sometime in late 2012, the same time period in which CreepsMcPasta would start to gain most of his connections within the community. One of the people he met was supposedly Kumori, the proof of this being in screenshot form. Screenshots that, if proven to be real, would mean without a doubt CreepsMcPasta groomed a young, impressionable fan. Going into this situation, I thought nothing of it. I thought it was just another false accusation with flimsy evidence, and in situations like these, a level of reasonable doubt is 100% necessary. But my assumption would later be blown out the water, and I would come to realise that these allegations were way more serious than I first thought. The evidence originally presented was better than most, but still somewhat flimsy. Screenshot evidence will never be taken at face value by any rational human being. Because of this, many people, myself included, were quick to question the validity of the screenshots and the allegations presented.
saying that CreepsMcPasta is a pedophile trying to have sex with children. Now, CreepsMcPasta is an incredibly nice guy who's been providing very entertaining content to people for a really long time. I really respect that guy. And he proved his innocence very humbly, and I feel so bad for him. Like, Pastel Bell, you're causing so much pain and suffering through your bullshit.
But the screenshots aren't really the incriminating part here. The screenshots of these conversations taking place set a basis for the allegations, but what if there is a direct tie between Komori and CreepsMcPasta? That would not look good for Creeps now, would it? Like I said earlier, a video by the name of Pokemon Jessica Creepypasta was uploaded to the CreepsMcPasta channel on the 5th of October 2012. On the surface, this video seems like any other creepypasta, but taking a look at the description, you'll find a link to a now deleted YouTube channel by the name of Koro-chan Fox.
Then the rounded edges of the newer writing.
You kept me close. We were the best of friends. Then you broke me, killed me, and then discarded me. I will never die. I am too close to your heart.
This would mean that Komori herself was linked directly to the CreepsMcPasta channel, something he would attempt to refute later on in his response. On the 25th of August 2020, CreepsMcPasta uploaded a video simply titled Response, only 3 days after the allegations were made public. In this response, he refutes all claims made against him. Please bear in mind the only thing CreepsMcPasta has as a defense is word of mouth and no receipts for anything he says. He refers to the fact that quote-unquote close friends said the messages could not have possibly been typed by him, while getting none of these so-called close friends to verify this claim.
Wow, these are DMs to a young girl. This is horrible. But people who are close to me and know me, as you know me in person, looked at it and were like, are they serious? And that's what makes this so hard, is that for anyone outside of my initial small group, it's obviously like you have to take a victim side. Even I want to take a victim side whenever something happens. But looking at this, it's horrible for me and my loved ones to see, because it's like, no. You know.
He also states that he believes Komori. He believes that she was groomed, but not by him. He believes that someone was pretending to be him to groom her.
Because we do have a real victim. That's the sad part about that. You do have a real victim. But then the person impersonating doesn't get caught because, of course, like anyone can assume an identity. But the person who was framed is also, like in some ways, a victim in a different way. And it's such a hard scenario to sort through, because it's not an aggressor and a prey. It's a mishmash. It becomes, almost a plot line of a story of just misnomers. I don't think that's the right word. Like conspiratorial, who did it? How do we find them? But someone's to blame.
And upon first glance, this response seemed pretty thorough. But as I have already outlined, CreepsMcPasta's response is objectively bad. Not only does he fail to dispute the claims against him, but every point he makes isn't backed up by anything but his own word. There is irrefutable evidence that CreepsMcPasta and Komori, aged 12 at the time, worked on and planned a full project together. He had to have known who she was. He must have spoken to her on at least a somewhat regular basis to allow her to come up with the idea for the project, tell him about it, and then help him make the project into a real thing. This project is still public on his channel to this day. He acts as if he has no idea who she is, but she's literally in the description of 2 public videos which she helped to make. He even adds that Komori couldn't make narrations anymore, so he clearly kept in close enough contact with her to know what was going on in her personal life. Now let's talk about the project idea that Komori came up with. We've already proved that Komori and CreepsMcPasta knew each other better than Creeps would lead you to believe. But for those who aren't in the loop, let me explain the project by the name of The Street. The Street was an interactive story as a Halloween special in 2012. In the story, you would go through different links in the description, essentially going trick-or-treating. On the 8th video of this project, Komori narrates a short story as her part of the project. The description of this video reads, "Sadly, the channel is no longer active, but I had one of her recordings lying around and she wanted me to use this." Another undeniable connection between Komori and CreepsMcPasta. He also claims that he never typed in the style, but the messages from him were written in. but public posts from that time period prove otherwise. He has clearly lied twice in his response already. What would have stopped him from lying about things again? So, what have we established in today's video? The CreepsMcPasta's response was not just disingenuous, but also filled with lies. That with the screenshots we've been given, and the fact that Komori was no longer able to continue with narrations being included in CreepsMcPasta's description, alongside her dad taking her internet away from her because of the conversations his daughter, aged 12, was having with a 21-year-old man, I believe we can reasonably say that these messages did take place. And based off the pitch of her voice, I think it isn't far-fetched to say that he knew her age. This would undeniably prove that CreepsMcPasta did attempt to groom Komori, and in my opinion, he has shown predatory behaviour, has lied through his teeth in his response video, and does not deserve a place on this platform. The fact that general audiences have ignored the proof so they can keep on defending their favourite creator is very showing of how the YouTube community treats serious allegations. My name is Alfie, and I make videos, and as always, I don't care.
I'm jealous of Pastel Bell.